Approximately 48.5 million Americans are grappling with substance misuse, and what many people don't realize is that approximately 50% of those people are using these substances to cope with mental health issues like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and PTSD. These are known as co-occurring disorders, which often go untreated. We want to change that, so Us Weekly is partnering with the Harris Project to bring readers a very special edition of the magazine called The Missing Issue, which is reframing the narrative on substance abuse and examining the stories of celebrities who have suffered with it, and we want to give them deeper context around the connection between substance use and mental health challenges. And here to help us shed some light on this is Stephanie Marchesano. She's the founder of the Harris Project. Stephanie, thank you for being here and sharing your story that is so personal to you. Stephanie, you're here to talk about your son who you tragically lost at just 19 years old. What would you like to tell us about him?
Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you for having me. So Harris was the kind of kid who had a twinkle in his eye, a smile that lit up the room. Every single person knows a Harris. Oh. Engaging, humorous, athletic, empathetic, a poet. And so when he walked into a room, you knew he was there. He was somebody who, humorous, like he would tell a joke, like it would come out as quick as he heard somebody say something, he would have the funniest response. And so for us, you know, that it's such a profound loss, even 11 years later, like nothing changes, but he is so present. Like he was such a larger than life person when he was here that we feel him so deeply.
When you scratch beneath the surface, everybody knows somebody dealing with mental health disorders, but people don't talk about it. And that's why it's important for us to talk about it, normalize it, and normalize people getting help for these disorders.
Exactly. So Harris died on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. My daughter was a senior in high school. Harris was 19. His friends began coming home. His funeral was planned for Sunday. My husband and I looked at each other because everybody kept saying, where do we make donations? What do we do to support you and your family? And I'm an attorney by training. I hadn't practiced in a long time. I was a PTA president. I was on the school board in my community when my kids were growing up. And all I kept thinking was, every residential treatment program said he had this thing called co-occurring disorders. It was the first time that we had ever heard of it at the first time he went in a year and a half before he died. And I was like, I want to figure out co-occurring disorders. I want to figure out what we can do to prevent it and how we could treat it, because it didn't make sense to me that you said he had something and then he was gone. So, you know, people are out there thinking, I rely on professionals. I go to get help and support. If you have cancer, if you have heart disease, if you have diabetes, you know where to go. You know what the gold standard of care is. And I just knew that there was something missing. And so I eulogized Harris, and I also launched the Harris Project.
We've talked to celebrities about this who have said that the mental health conditions drive their addiction in the past. And I think the understanding of telling people and talking about that is very important. And do you believe that if your son was treated for these co-occurring conditions together, there could have things could have been ended differently?
100%. And so the power of the prevention is to say, okay, until the treatment and system get it right, if we can educate and empower our young people and the people that care about them, home run. So the mental health challenges first, substance use to self-medicate, one part. Sometimes they happen both at the same time. And that's a lot about the environment, biology, family history, genetics. And so we want to educate and empower our young people that you can break the cycles in your family by getting help and support early. And then
and for there not to be any shame about that.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
The stigma, the shame, which is still such, you know, you would probably be really happy helping a friend who's struggling, but when you look at yourself, you don't really want to share that. You don't want to share that vulnerability. But now I'm somebody who can be in front of 1,000 kids in an assembly, and everybody's like so worried about how they're going to behave, which has never, ever, ever been an issue. But now they're thinking, okay, I don't have the mental health condition. I'm not part of that half of our young people in the United States that have mental health challenges. I can be a helper, but I'm good. But the final category of co-occurring disorders is one that impacts every young person in their late 20s and under, which is using substances can change your brain chemistry. So you can develop a mental health condition even if you weren't on track to. So now not only are we supporting people with mental health challenges and educating them that they might be at risk, but we're making sure every young person understands where they might fit into the narrative. Hope, abstinence until your brain is fully developed? Likely, probably not. But if they can begin to think about their why, they take those 10 seconds, like, I'm doing this because I wasn't feeling comfortable. I was doing this, I thought I was bored, but now I can't stop doing it. And now I'm feeling anxious if I don't do it. Then you know to get help and support sooner. We don't have to act in crisis.
Yep.
We can act proactively to get help and support.
Have you had families reach out to you who've been helped by the Harris Project?
So not only parents, but the young people themselves. And so in the beginning, when treatment and systems were kind of like, the big mountain to move and CODA was the happy, fun place. Now imagine when you're presenting to kids and then you're getting the emails and the messages and they're saying things like, I'm sorry, I've been in treatment for an anxiety disorder for like 3 years. What were they waiting for, telling me that I'm at higher risk for co-occurring disorders, that substance use could be problematic for me? So that's me, home run. Then families and young people who've had access to Encompass treatment to really say, my child heard, with me, heard you on a webinar and said, well, I'm like Harris, like, how do I get that treatment? And then somebody, I get teary, but somebody who was one of the first Encompass cases just got engaged. Oh. And he has 4 years in recovery. And so those are the kind of moments where I think, I haven't said this in a long time, but when Harris first died and I did my very first presentation, I looked at my daughter and we said, if we could impact one life, it would be a success. And so the big picture, you don't really feel every day is prevention working. It's hard to tell, but we kind of feel like it is. But to hear from individuals who are directly impacted, who are living lives that are successful, that don't feel the shame, that can recover out loud, that are comfortable sharing about their mental health and substance use, that's so important. We talk to kids about refusal skills. I tell them, own your narrative. The more you talk about it, the less stigma there is. And
it helps other people, and you're spreading, and you're helping thousands, if not millions, in the future.
Yes, exactly.
So is there anything else you want to share, Stephanie?
So Dan, when you and I first met, I told you that I like to do my research ahead of any conversations that I have.
Sounds like we should hire you at Us Weekly.
Well, I did find something that you said, and I just want to share it and make my own comment on this. So you said in an interview, the people we want to bring in are all aware that celebrity and entertainment, it's not brain science. We're not saving the world. Well, Dan, I'm not a celebrity. It is brain science. And you really are saving the world through this opportunity, and I can't thank you enough.
Stephanie, I'm so proud of the work we've done with the Harris Project with the missing issue at Us Weekly, and it really is my hope that other media outlets will follow our example and change how they report on co-occurring disorders.
Absolutely, because knowledge is power. You can't prevent something you've never heard of. You can't demand access to better care if you don't know what's missing.
This struggle has touched millions of lives, including celebrities with substance misuse and mental health challenges. In an effort to continue this important conversation, The Missing Issue will provide a more in-depth look at co-occurring disorders. Conversations with everyday people and experts on their experiences and details of celebrities' own struggles through treatment. In this special edition magazine, we re-examine the stories of celebrities, including Matthew Perry, Liam Payne, Juice WRLD, and Amy Winehouse, to retell their narratives with the deeper context that the world has missed. The magazine seeks to help readers understand the connection between substance use issues and mental health challenges for the celebrities featured and millions of other Americans, to help change the way we treat co-occurring disorders and ultimately, as Stephanie said, to try and help save lives. Thanks, Stephanie, for being here, and tell everyone where we can find out more information about the Harris Project, please.
So theharrisproject.org is the first place. Instagram, we're the Harris Project COD. Same thing on TikTok.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.